Okay, we have with us Professor Steve Bender, who is at the University of Oregon Law School and is also a co-chair of latcrit. So Steve, let's go to the beginnings. Critical race theory. When did you get exposed to those ideas and things?
I have to mostly credit Professor Keith Aoki, who was a colleague of mine at the University of Oregon, and he knew that I was writing on official English and English only legislation, and he said, you need to go to the Western Law Conference of Color and get involved with people there. So he took me there. That's where I met Frank Valdez. And Kevin Johnson and Michael Olivas and a number of people who were instrumental in drawing me in just the seeds of origin of latcrit, which took us then to a conference of the Hispanic National Bar Association in Puerto Rico, where a number of us, Berta Hernandez, Margaret Montoya, Pedro Malavet, I'm trying to remember everybody who was in the hot tub outside the resort instead of in the plenary session. Is my best recollection of Frank saying, come on people, we've got a plenary session. But that then led to the first latcrit in La Jolla. And I actually published one of my pieces on the English language movement, language vigilantism, in the Harvard Latino Law Review.
So how has becoming part of the stream of latcrit changed your scholarship, changed your teaching, changed your professional life?
I think the most important thing that latcrit has given me is a sense of belonging and community, because as a law professor who comes from, as I do, from a poor background, from East LA, from a mixed race background, who never lived with his Anglo father, I really never, and then was moved to Eastern Oregon, a very rural environment when I was in high school. I never then went to practice law in Phoenix. It had very problematic issues of race, and most places do. I never really felt like I was part of anything, and even at the law school, I felt like, except from a few colleagues, like particularly Keith Aoki, there was nobody who really understood where I was coming from and where I wanted to be and what made me comfortable. And I finally got that with latcrit. So I think the most important thing latcrit has done is given me that comfort to have a voice. That has infused my teaching, my public service, and my scholarship. So without necessarily going into each of the ways in which it's done that feeling of community is what basically drives me to do what I do. And so each conference, as I run around moving tables and setting up audiovisual and so forth, is just a little bit of giving back to the voice of latcrit.
You mentioned community, and earlier you had mentioned the hot tub. So I understand that in the community building being a very central tenant for latcrit, that hot tubs and martinis and the hospitality suites have played a unique role. Could you talk to that?
They have. One of my favorite, a couple favorite stories is that we learned early on that sort of the veterans of latcrit wouldn't want to situate their room near the hospitality suite. You would call up and you'd say, wherever the hospitality suite is, especially those of us who planned it, we would say, we want to be 10 floors away. And then the Oregon conference, they showed me the hospitality suite, and they said there's this fabulous balcony, and then they opened one of the large bedroom area suites off of the living room, and they said, and here's the built-in indoor hot tub with plasma TV screens. And I knew when everybody showed up and Frank and Robert and others came who were going to be staying in the hospitality suite as hosts, and I showed them that. I saw their eyes get big as saucers when that happened. And I hope we don't have any video from the hospitality suites for that.
I recall a similar, the Horseshoe hospitality suite in Cleveland, which included the jacuzzi and all that. So anyway, but being facetious aside, what role does that play? What role does a hospitality suite play? Why is community building is such an important part of the latcrit project?
I've actually come to think that it's the most important part of the latcrit project. We do so many things in terms of guiding young scholars along, in facilitating scholarly placements, in terms of, and then speaking in the public debate on a number of these issues, and publishing books and publishing casebooks to help our students learn. But I've come to think, and particularly this conference, I've realized and put it over the top, that really the most important thing we do is looking around at people hugging each other like you'd never do in a faculty meeting with your own faculty, and realizing the value of community. And that we actually care about every person who's here, having made the trip, being a part of the community. We care about their well-being. We care about their scholarly trajectory. We care about their home life. We care about their promotion and their tenure. And you just don't find that at your home institutions. You don't find that anywhere. And that's the one thing I found at latcrit. And I think if you ask across the board, people would tell you that. So I actually think the hospitality suite, which we have now begun to do at the ALS conference in January, there is particularly a space when so much is happening at the ALS and there are so many faculty dynamics going on, and deans wander around in your own faculty, a place where you can go and connect with people who are your family. It's sort of like going home when you're on the road.
Let me bring it back to a personal thing. You now have been co-chair of latcrit for a while, and we know that the leading lights, Frank, particularly the idea that, these would be difficult shoes to fill. So how has that experience been to lead the organization, carry the torch forward?
What we said is that Frank's shoes to fill were so big that it would take more than 5 of us maybe to fill those shoes. And so we got a number of us involved, including Frank, as an emeritus co-chair, and Bertrand Hernandez and Angela Harris, who have been part of the steering committee. So what we did is it's sort of leadership by committee, knowing that there was no way to replace the energy, the wisdom, the experience, and the insight of Frank for just one person.
Where do you see the organization another 10 years down the road?
What I'd like to see another 10 years down the road is the same recognition of the importance of community, that no matter what happens in terms of latcrit's growth, that we're able to sustain that community. What I'd probably like to see us do that we're just beginning to be assertive in these areas is more of an insertion of latcrit scholars and latcrit ideals into key policy debates in the form of position papers, doing some of the things that SALT has come to do, the Society of American Law Teachers, and asserting itself in legal disputes is something that I think we need to begin to more continuously and assertively call the latcrit membership and coalesce the latcrit resources toward taking those positions that are controversial and difficult and may fractionalize membership in those ways, but at the same time, I think it's too important to not utilize the resources that we do have, which is a powerful, united group of committed scholars and activists.
Well, let's go do it.